All right, everyone. I just want to say welcome to this evening's chat with the chief. It's been a little while since we've been together, so I just want to say hello to everyone who's joining us on Zoom, and then also everyone who's joining us on Facebook. We're happy to have you join us this evening. And just want to say, if you're joining us on Zoom, if you have any questions or comments, please go ahead and put those into the chat box, and we'll go ahead and we'll be checking that throughout the evening. And if you're joining us on Facebook, we'll be looking at your comments there and trying to get those answered throughout the evening. So from there, we have a special guest. Michael's joining us. And so, Michael, if you want to take it from here and introduce yourself, and we'll start our chat. Oh.
You might be muted.
Yep, you might be muted, Michael.
You guys hear me now?
Can hear you now.
How you guys doing? My name is Michael London. I'm a third year at Sonoma State. I represent MSI, Male Success Initiative, one of 17 out of 23 campuses at Sonoma State at TSU. So basically, we're all here today just to ask, questions for the chief about community. I want to first start off with a question. Hold on, I gotta put you guys on pause. I wrote it down. Sorry. Hold on.
While Michael's getting that going, I also want to welcome everybody. I know it's been, I think November 2nd was our last chat. And, hopefully maybe the end of this year, we can work through the holidays a little different. But we did all get a little break. I'm sure you all needed a little break from me, but we're back. And I'm looking forward to a really, really good year this year with our chats. We're going to continue doing them on the first and third Tuesdays of every month. As we go and COVID restrictions let up, we may even try to do some of these in person, try some different venues, but I promise to make myself even more available to you throughout this year, through these chats and through other venues. So.
All right. One of my first questions is, how we first met earlier, and, I made a statement, basically say, I stay away from you guys. My real question is, in what ways are you working towards strengthening the relationship between the police department and the community, and how will you go about this?
Yeah, back in August, the city manager and I, we took 9 recommendations to council, because if you remember right, when the new council came in, one of the added goals and priorities that they had some new goals, and one of those was police accountability and police community relations. The council really wanted the public safety department to work on police accountability and relationships. So we brought some recommendations, which we will be taking back to council on the 25th. We went and proposed those to the community. And, they are, for instance, bringing in a police auditor from the outside, someone who doesn't work for me, doesn't work for the department, but comes in and evaluates and looks at how we're doing business in here, how we are looking at citizen complaints and concerns, policies, what can we change, what can we do better. Also, one of the other main things in there, which will be really new, is the community's public safety roundtable. And this is really the opportunity to go out in the community and find individuals who don't maybe have the voice that they want, but have a lot to say, right? And really want to see change, and bring all these people together with myself so I can hear it, and so I can listen to it, so I can figure out how we can get better. So that's one of the main ways. The other way is, as we talked a little bit earlier today, I would love to start meeting some of the individual groups such as yours, and so we can start having these conversations, because I need help getting that word out, and I need help figuring out where I need to get to talk to people. So really, it's just opening up the department to the community, and opening myself up to taking criticism and understanding what we can do better, and then working towards doing that.
Thank you, Chief. Another question was, going on the basis of that. One of my question is, so basically, how can I put this? You know how you say like you guys want to get people's opinions and documents and other like word from other people. My question is, how will we know like what are like reports or reports that we make about certain issues will get documented? Because sometimes like in the community, especially like as ethnic or as a minor, sometimes we feel like that doesn't get it doesn't get to you guys, or it just gets documented or not even get reached to the highest form like the chief, or we feel like sometimes it's a waste of time to even make the document because we feel like there's no change that's going to be made.
Right. And that's unfortunate. And that really is one of our start. That's where we got to start, right? We got to build that trust, that legitimacy with our agency and the public. But I know how the system works in here, and I know what happens when a concern or a report comes in here. I know how we handle it, and I know that my philosophy on that is we handle everyone the same way. Everyone is important, right? But if I know that, but you don't know that, then I've missed the message, right? I am not getting the message out there. So that's where this roundtable, this getting this group together from all the diverse community members, right? Letting them have that voice and me hearing that, and then saying, not only, okay, I understand it's a problem. I understand that we're not where we need to go. Help me get there. Tell me what we need to do to get there. Because, I certainly, I don't have all those answers, but I want to hear them. I want to hear from the people in the community. I want to hear from you, right? How we get there so that no one else feels that their concerns aren't being heard.
Thank you, Chief. Another question I have is basically like when like somebody gives you a call or like somebody calls like the police department and they send somebody out. We were wondering like why are some officers like have a special reaction to it? Like basically we call you guys out, somebody will call you guys out about like a certain situation and there's nothing else being heard, like it's just one way. And am I saying this right? It's just one way and like how can I give you an example? Basically like somebody called us like a neighbor complaint. First thing they do is just they stop everything and they only listen to what the neighbor put. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
basically when we try to talk to them about it, it just, oh, that doesn't matter what you're saying. We got this and this is what it is. There's nothing to it.
Yeah, and I know exactly what you're talking about. There's a belief out there. There's a belief out there that whoever calls first is going to get more credibility, right? And we work hard on that in the department. We stress the importance of we are fact finders. We don't go into anywhere with an opinion or an established understanding of what we think is happening. But oftentimes whoever gets to us first, if we go talk to this person first and we get that story and then we go to the other part of the situation and talk, someone always feels like they're not getting heard the same way. And I don't believe that it's because they're making it up. I believe they truly feel that way. And we do. That's not my expectation. My expectation is we go to the scene, we hear from both stories, and then we evaluate it. But I know that let me just say, for instance, like and as an SSU student, we deal with a lot of SSU students with party calls, right? And I know that neighbors call and we get out there, we talk to the neighbors and we go over and the people at the party just don't feel like we're listening to them. And that's, I understand their side of the story. We do have, the ordinance is pretty cut and dry. It's pretty tight. But a lot of times, there's no excuse for it if it's happening, but it's my expectation that that's not the way it's happening. We treat each person fairly and we evaluate as we go. But again, if you're feeling that way or someone's feeling that way, we're kind of missing the point on that call. And that's where we got to get better, right? We should not walk away and leave anyone believing that they were not hurt. So if it's happening, then we're missing the point. You're muted again, Mike. You don't have to keep unmuting yourself either. You just leave yourself unmuted.
Sorry, I had some technical difficulty. Another question we feel in MSI, when it comes to minorities, just living in like Rohnert Park, not a lot of minorities live in this town. We feel like we're kind of like a main target here. Like we feel like sometimes we feel like unsafe or unfair due to certain situations, like basically like disputements or just disagreements. And I feel like just as a young Black man, like sometimes when I'm driving around and like I got plenty of tickets out here, I feel like when I'm driving around and the cops see me, oh, he's gonna pull me over like fast, like. And 9 times out of 10 they do, like they do, and like it'll just be the lowest reasons, or they'll find something to tic-tac. My question is to you, like, how can we fix that? Like how can you make us feel more comfortable here?
So first of all, that has come up. That is something that has come up, right? And so one of the things we did was, in order to figure out, are we doing that? Truly, are we doing that? Is we took a look and we went back and we pulled all our statistics, all our arrest statistics, all our use of force statistics, and all of our traffic citation statistics to see, are we like unfairly targeting any particular diverse group in the community. And they're up on the website, but it actually shows that our traffic stops, our arrests, and our use of force are actually right in line with our census information. So really, the percentage of stops and arrests are very much accurate with the percentages of the diverse groups in the community. So when I look at statistically, it's like I can say we're not doing that, but the perception is we are. So I don't have to address the statistics. I have to address the perception. And if I have all these diverse groups saying it's happening, it's I don't want you to ever drive through Rohnert Park and feel like, hey, because the color of my skin, I'm more likely to get pulled over. We don't police like that in Rohnert Park. We are very proactive in our traffic enforcement and traffic stops, especially at night. We are looking for DUIs. We are looking for people who are driving unlicensed, people who are driving with suspended license, people who are driving with warrants. And the only way we can do that is to stop them, see who they are, see what they're doing out there. And so that can be perceived as being picked on. It really can. But it's one of the ways that we're able to get the dangerous drivers off the street, because they don't usually drive by us and tell us they're drunk driving or tell us they're suspended. But if you drive by and you see, you're driving by and you see 2 police officers, they pulled somebody over, and the person in the car is Hispanic or Black, that we're given a perception that we're unfairly enforcing. We've got the Civilian Academy coming up. We really want to start inviting the community in here to see what we do and how we do things. Hopefully COVID will go away. We got the ride along program. I would encourage you to come out, and your group, members of your MSI, to come out and do ride alongs, ask questions. And we're always looking for good candidates to come in and be public safety officers. And as much as I can do to change the perception of what we're doing, getting good, strong, young individuals, or just individuals, right, of the diversity to come in and be members of this agency will help change that too, right? So
Now, what are your goals to bring us in to be part of your agency? Like, what steps would you be taking? Because when I first think in police is, I don't think good. But police are to protect the community. I don't get that wrong. There is law and order, and that's what we do need. But what steps would you take to make us feel like, oh, I want to be a police officer?
right. You know, we have been law enforcement and public safety in general has always been a profession that has drawn people in. We really haven't had to go out and really try to bring people in. You know, they want to be in this profession, so they come in. And so I will tell you, as a profession, law enforcement in general kind of got lazy in recruiting, right? We didn't have to recruit. People came to us. They wanted to come and work, right? And we've missed the mark on, in a lot of ways, in going out and recruiting to get a very diverse workforce. And so one of the things we've talked about here is how do we go out into the community and bring people in who want to be police officers? Because right now, the sentiment there's not a lot of people banging down our door, right? And so now we're looking back and saying, wow, we can't be lazy about this anymore. We need to go out and find individuals who want to be. One of the things we need to do is we need help figuring out where we need to go to do this, right? Do we need to be on college campuses? If we're on a college campus, where do we need to be on that college campus? Who is the group of individuals on that college campus that are going to be, interested in law enforcement, right? And so today, when you and I were talking earlier about, hey, this is kind of how this will go. You're the host. You're the boss tonight. But we also talked about, hey, I want to continue this conversation, but I'd like to have an offshoot of this with MSI, where we're meeting quarterly or monthly, right, and having a discussion so that people can meet me and meet some of our personnel and say, I would love to go work there, right? So that's part of how I see us starting to get out there but we've got to get out in that diverse group. We got to get this roundtable going, right? So I can be invited and I can be in the right circles and the right groups to start recruiting.
Now, when this roundtable does start, what do you think the effect is going to go for the community?
I'm sorry, something caught my attention up on the screen there. Say that again, Michael.
When your roundtable effect goes in place, what do you think? What are your goals like throughout it?
So when I was talking to the city manager about the kind of early on about getting a roundtable together, getting a group of people together, that kind of how I said is I said, there are individuals in the community who already have a voice. They're on committees, they're here, and we know them, right? I said, but there is a huge group of individuals who have a lot of influence in their neighborhood, in their diverse group of individuals, in their sections, right? That people come to, right? The community goes to them, but they don't have a platform or anywhere to voice that. They can't take the concerns anywhere because they don't have that platform. I said, let's give those individuals the platform, right? I used the example. I said, there's a store here in Rohnert Park, and it's owned by a Hispanic family, and I've met the man. He's wonderful, right? And I know because I've heard. I mean, people go to him with concerns about what's the community, what's going on in the section and their section of town. And he has said, people come to me. I don't know why. I don't have anywhere to go. I don't have anywhere to say, tell. And it's like, that's who I want in this committee. I want members from all the diverse groups in our community. That's what it's going to be. And you get to come in and we're going to get together and we're going to sit down and you're going to get to tell me why you don't feel that you're policed the same, why you don't feel that what's available to other groups is available to you, and we're gonna start fixing that. Because I don't know all that stuff. I need to hear it.
How do you pose to transform the inclusionary mindset in this community? For examples like predatory towing that poses hardships for our student community.
For example, like predatory what that poses threats?
Predatory towing that poses hardships for our student community. Like basically in Rohnert Park, there is predatory towing. Like tow trucks do look around and like follow around just to pick anything up 2 seconds in. Boom. No guest parking for students, like that. I feel like the city just tries to make like every dollar they can off like people.
So if it's in the community, that is definitely a question for me. If it's on campus, not much. That's a completely that's run by the SSU. They have a
no that's definitely off. I live off campus. So.
You live off, okay. So the only time we tow a vehicle is if someone is driving a DUI, if they're driving without a license, they're driving with a suspended license, or if they're parked and they're in violation of, they've got registration expired over 6 months, which they shouldn't be driving, car should be on the street. If they're leaving their vehicle parked for more than 72 hours, which those are calls from neighbors who call us. And that's when we tow. And I can tell you that I know I can see the tows. I know the tows come in. We don't tow a huge amount, especially with those tows. Most of our tows are from DUI. But again, this is where we got to get together and talk, because I know what the numbers are. But so from my perspective, I'm looking and saying, I don't really think we tow that many vehicles. But your perspective is we do, right? So there's definitely a lack of communication and understanding between us. And that's why we got to start breaking down some of these barriers so we can start having the conversation. But this is a conversation that you and I should have had 2 years ago, right? Your third year, right? We should have had this conversation 2 years ago. But when you came on today and you were kind of joking earlier, saying, yeah, I said, I stay away from you. The reason we didn't have this conversation 2 years ago is because you didn't feel comfortable reaching out and calling me, right? And that's horrible, because I want to create that where anybody in this community feels like they can reach out and talk to me at any time, and they're not afraid to do it, and they don't fear any kind of retribution, and they don't fear that, oh, if I call, I'm going to bring attention to myself, and now I'm just going to be a target, right? We got to get over that, but I have to figure out how to make everybody feel that way. And if I have to do it one at a time, just like you and I are doing now, hopefully after this is done, you'll have a little bit more confidence and feel like I could call the chief. I could call him, right? Well, there 47,000 people in this community and additional. So if it takes me to individually talk to 47,000 people, that's what I'm going to have to do. But I'm hoping that by creating these relationships, when you leave, you'll talk to the people in your even if you just talk to MSI, right? We have now expanded who we're communicating with by that many more people.
There was a question in the chat. Basically says, what is the diversity in RP and RP public safety?
Oh, the diversity in Rohnert Park and in diversity in public safety.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to open the website if someone wants me to look on that, but I can tell everybody if they want to go to the website, the diversity is on there. It's based on the census, the last census. So hopefully we'll get new, but everyone's gonna see how slow I type now, Michael. When I went to college, we still wrote with pen and paper, and so didn't have iPads. Let's see here.
And MSI doesn't welcome you to. We do want to work together. We've met with the ATF director of alcohol, tobacco, firearms. We met with him in March. We met with an FBI agent. We've done a lot of like meetings with law enforcement.
Yes, you have. I am familiar with that. I know that the college has brought some people out there to speak. And so hopefully it's getting people interested in law enforcement, because I would love to start recruiting out at the college. Let's see. Sports. I'm working on it.
Well, why you bring up those?
I'll tell you what, I don't have that right offhand. It's on there, and I don't want to keep looking this way. We're looking this way, but I will get those numbers, and I will post them back out. I'll post them out on Facebook or something tomorrow. So they are on our website. One I have to look through.
So where I'm from, basically we did have. Do you guys have anything that has to do like with the police department and the school? Like basically like we had like DCEL, Department Sheriff's League Association. I forgot what it was called, but basically like it was a league by cops or the police department where we could play sports. We had teams. Do you guys have that?
So
do you have any like events with the community and the police department at the same time?
No, we used to have in some agencies I've worked throughout California. There's PAL, Police Athletic League.
Yeah, PAL,
which is a youth sports program where a lot of times the officers coach, and there's like intercollegiate. We don't have that right now, but we do have. We have an SRO, school resource officer, who's on the campuses. We have several members of this department who coach youth sports in the community because they live in the community, and they coach a lot of the youth sports. One of my officers is the freshman volleyball coach at the high school. So even though we don't have a PAL, Police Athletic League right now, charter, we do encourage our officers to be out in the community and to be civically active when they're not at work.
Okay, would you guys like think about every time I drive by the police department, there's a park right there. You guys don't ever throw any like events or special gatherings together, like where the community can come together and meet you guys, or meet and greet or barbecue, anything, so we can feel more comfortable, know who you guys are, how we connect you guys, make relationships. We want to see more of that, because the only time I see you guys is when the lights flash or when y'all walk by.
Yeah, that hurts. I mean, that hurts me.
Every time I drive, I drive back to the Bay Area like probably once a weekend. Every time I drive by that y'all station, yeah. I look right, I look left, I look behind me. I'm okay.
I'm sorry you feel that way. We gotta keep working on that. I want you to feel comfortable driving anywhere in the community. And as far as the events we do, we have a beautiful area right out in front of public safety, right? It's got the fountain, it's got the splash pad thing. And during the summer, we have Friday night farmers market. There's always a big gathering down here on Friday nights.
That's the farmers market. We want to get to know you guys, just like how you guys know us.
I agree. We do. Really, the only event that we really have done out there is the neighborhood watch, the National Night Out there. And you're right.
That wouldn't even sound like as a young Black man, that wouldn't even sound right to go to a neighborhood watch. We want to have like a gathering together with you guys, like a barbecue. Everybody want to come to a barbecue. It's food, it's events, and we want to get to know you guys. So maybe we can feel more comfortable. Like, oh, that's Officer, what's his name? Like I had a couple officers when I was growing up. I'm like, oh, that's Officer, what's his name? Like he's cool dude.
Right, right. Okay, then you know what? We need to do that, right? So between public safety and MSI, maybe we should look at doing something like that.
Somebody in
the first.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Chief.
I was just saying, it's got to start somewhere, right? And you're right. We do a lot of events, but they're usually pretty general events, right? We go somewhere, we invite the public, we do, coffee with a cop, right? But maybe we haven't been specific enough because we need to just target and say, hey, Michael, why don't you and MSI come over this day at this time? We're gonna have some food and get to know each other, right? And then why don't you and another group come over? And so we can start meeting. You're probably right. We do general stuff, but we haven't been specific in it. And we are certainly missing the mark because if you drive down Expressway on your way home and you're looking left, right, up, down, and for the lights behind you, we're missing the mark somewhere. We really are.
Yeah. Well, definitely MSI will reach out to you guys, and hopefully next month, because it's gonna be Black History Month, maybe we can set something up. Definitely. Somebody in the chat did ask a question from Facebook. Good evening. When will you be hiring for police cadets?
So we are usually have an ongoing hiring, but we're about to open another round for the next academy, which will start in July. So I would encourage anybody, keep an eye on our face, keep an eye on the city website, go to Human Resources. It may already be open because we do accept applications on a continual basis. So if you can go on there and get your application filled out, it'll sit there till we open it. But we're looking at opening a recruitment to put probably between 3 and 5 individuals in the July Academy. So now is the time to start looking because we will start the testing very soon.
Hold on, I have another question for you. Give me 2 seconds. So we know that Rohnert Park is one of the 5 largest cities out of Sonoma County. One of my questions was, hold on, 2 seconds. Sorry. Hold on. What are the goals of community policing?
Well, we are only as good as our community, right? So the goal in community policing for us is to ensure that we are creating an environment where the community works with us to make a safe community, right? What did Sir Robert Peel say? You don't measure an agency or an officer by the number of arrests they make. You measure it by the crime rate, right? And in order to keep a low crime rate, you have to have your community who's willing to work with the police and be part of that policing agency as far as their eyes and ears and notifications. But they're only going to do that if there's a legitimacy and a trust between the community and the agency. So community policing is based on building a legitimacy and a trust with your community if you're going to be successful.
Definitely. Like just revisiting the topic I had earlier. Our community is really young in Rohnert Park. Like the majority are our college students. 2,000 to 3,000 go here. It's from 20 to 25, and then we do have elderly people, but majority are young people. Not going from a racial standpoint, but like from a younger standpoint, some of us don't feel safe, like just talking to you guys. And how can I put this in effect? Like it's some clients that it's some like neighbors around us, they give high anxiety calls. And I have a neighbor next to me right now. She knows that we're a minority house. I'm Black. is an Asian, two Asian. She gives us a call every week, possibly, just about anything. Oh, we're coming down the street. Oh, they're too loud, or it's something small that she always call. Do you guys have a file of like who like calls who? Does that make sense? Like, do you guys have a file on each call that they make?
We don't necessarily have a file, but everybody calls in the dispatch is logged. So when we start getting numerous calls to a place, right, to one certain place, we start looking back at the series of calls to see what seems to be the problem there. And usually by that time, it's reached my desk, and you'll get a personal visit from me, and a neighbor will get a personal visit from me, right? Because sometimes I go out there and I tell the complainant, the house that's being complained on, right? Like, say it's your neighbors calling on you, right? I'm going to go out there and introduce myself to you and say, hey, we're getting a lot of calls here, right? I've already reviewed the calls, right? And I'm going to sit down and I'm going to talk to you guys about, what the calls are. How can we try to solve this? Have you talked to your neighbor? Have you introduced yourself to the neighbor, right? And a lot of times I go right to the neighbor's house and I say, listen, your call, it's an excessive calling, right? These gentlemen can make some noise. They can start their car at 6 o'clock in the morning. They can run down the street. They can play football out there, right? Your calls are unwarranted. So, but yeah, we keep a log. We try to evaluate it, and we also know that there are. I will tell you right now that there are some serious party houses in Rohnert Park that
Definitely, no doubt about that.
7-8 students in there. They party. They keep the neighborhood up, right? We deal with it, right? Because that is unreasonable. But we also have this huge number who, some college kids move into a house and they're kind of on guard already, and they call whenever there's noise, and we got to work. Those are the ones we go in there and we try to be the mediators in here, and we talk to the neighbor and we say, they can do that. We talk to the house, say, you might want to cut this down, right? Let's find a way to get along. So we do try that, because what's everybody want? Everybody wants the college experience, right?
Definitely.
But then they want the neighbor experience. So we try to work it out in those cases where we're kind of negotiating and mediating. The houses that need the attention, they get the attention, and no one would dispute that that's a problem.
There's a question in the chat. Let's read it. Somebody asked from Facebook, when will the Pellet B testing take place?
So we're just talking about that today. We do know that Human Resources will be opening the official recruitment for the recruit police officers, and as soon as that happens, we will have the date for the Pellet B. So that will be part of that recruitment. So just keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on the website, and that date will come up there. It will be probably within the next 2 to 3 weeks.
When you guys doing your selection on like officers from your, do you give them like a mental health, like a behavioral test, or like, do they have any files of like, say, any racial or like any targeting like selection? Does that come to you guys' mind when you guys do that? Because I was sitting in a meeting a couple months ago with the FBI director, and how the selection process is, and somebody can come from like out of the state of the police department and say they did something like racial, but their file won't transfer from here. I think so, because I guess it gets sponged. If I'm wrong, correct me. They can come from out there, from another state, to come down here.
So, law enforcement has a really tough hiring process, and you're going to go through the right now the physical and the Pellet B and an interview. And if you move on, if you get past those tests, right, then you're going to go and you're going to take a polygraph, and we're going to ask you all kinds of questions. You fill out a huge application. We ask all those questions, right? There's some very personal questions we ask. We get in depth. You go through a poly. If you pass the poly, then we're going to put you in background, and it doesn't matter what state you come from. If you go into background, we are going to go talk to people. I don't care if we got to go out of state to do it. we're going to go back. We're going to talk to everybody you tell us to talk to. And then we're going to find people you didn't tell us to talk to find out about stuff, because we're trying to find out those nuances. We want to know, right? And then once you get past that, you get to have an interview with me and usually one of my command staff. And if you move on from there, you go to a full psychological exam. And again, we're looking for biases. We're looking for anything that would indicate that if you got this job, that you're gonna show a bias. And then you go through the full medical. So once you go through all those steps, I mean, there are some manipulative people out there. I'll say that. But I think we put everything in place to prevent exactly what you're talking about from happening, because I'm responsible for every person I hire. When I give them a set of keys, when they're done training, I give them a set of keys and they go out in that community, everything they do represents me, right? And so I need to know that I'm putting good people out in that community. So we put them through a vigorous hiring process.
There's a question in the chat. Are you losing applicants to other agencies, or is there a low turnout rate for officers in general right now?
Recruiting for everybody is tough. So we're all competing for a very small group of individuals who are applying. You've got the county, Sonoma County, Petaluma, Rohnert Park, and Santa Rosa. We're the bigger agencies in the community in the county, and so we have the most employees. So we're competing with each other to try to get people through processes and get them in and bring them in. We're unique because we're public safety. So I'm going to have a specific niche, right? I've got people who want to be police and fire. So generally, if they want to be that, they're going to come here. But I've also got people who want to be police, but they'll do fire. And I got people who want to be fire, but they'll do police. So those I kind of competing with the other agencies. But we have noticed, our recruitment numbers are lower. And I have one of my female officers, right? Because we are a diverse agency right now. But one of my female officers is leaving to go to another department. And the reason is family and wanting to get closer to family, and they've been here for a while. So I support that, right? But I lose agencies, officers every once in a while who are like, okay, I've worked in Rohnert Park for 4, 5, 6 years, and I'd like to move down to my family. So they go up and leave. Now I've just had 5, 6 years of experience walk out the door, and I'm more than likely going to replace them with a brand new recruit, who now it's going to take me 5 or 6 more years to get them up to what I just lost. So it's a constant kind of revolving door, and that's why it's important that we do those backgrounds and we put the work in the forefront so that we are replacing good people with good people.
I have a question. Because not everything is perfect in the world. Are there any issues inside of the police department? Like, how can I say this? Like, arrest or diversity? Like, what are your main issues in the police department that you think that you have? Because
well, right now it's battling COVID, and I know that's not where you're going, but just staffing, right? Just trying to keep staffing on the street because of over the last, since March of 2020, people in and out with COVID. So staffing is always something that's on our mind, and we're always addressing, right? Trying to keep, because the community doesn't care whether I have officers that have COVID or injured. They care, but they don't care in the way that there's an expectation that we will put officers and firefighters on the street to make sure this community is safe, right? So it doesn't matter how many I have to work with, I still have to staff the streets. And so that's one of them. Recruitment, trying to get good people in here is another one that we're constantly trying to recruit. I think that because of the COVID and stuff, fatigue, both mental and physical fatigue can set in because, you know, people, when you're asking people to work their 4 days and then turn around and work 2 of their 3 days off and then come back and work their 4 days to try to keep people, you know, so making sure that you're addressing fatigue. When you have fatigue, morale, right? And so try to balance that morale with the fatigue, right? And incentivize, you know, people wanting to come in to do the job. So I'd say those are the things that we kind of battle with every day.
Somebody keeps asking this question. Different subject. Are motorized bikes and scooters allowed on sidewalks of Creek Pass? I really want to know that question.
And I know you can ride bikes. They're not allowed on sidewalks. I will get the answer on Creek Pass. I'll reach out to my sergeant and get an answer on the Creek Pass. But no, the motorized scooters and bikes aren't allowed on sidewalks. That's for one.
Now I have a question. How long have you been chief of police?
I have been the chief here for just over 3 years now. I came here in December of 2018, and prior to that, I was a chief in another city for just about 3 years, little over 3 years. So
I have a question. So before you became chief, was there any like racial issues or economic issue that's going on in the department? Do you think that you made a better, do you think you made a change in your department since you came?
I think I definitely made a change in many ways. This was a very good department when I came. There were you know, some officers who had done some stuff that was unethical. They were dealt with. And, you know, when I came in, there were a lot of people holding the department hostage for what a very limited number of officers were doing. That's been addressed. And so, you know, I think just coming in as that was happening, I think I was able to just make a change in, you know, taking a department in a direction and having a direction we wanted to go. I probably lead different than the last chief led. We all have our different leadership styles. I'm a very hands-on individual. And so I did not ever see and have had concerns. I've had no concerns about any kind of racism in the department or unethical behavior in that manner. But we've been able to make some changes and move forward that I think has taken the department to another level.
Definitely. All right. A Facebook question. Are you losing any staff to other states due to COVID mandates here in California and Sonoma County?
We have not. I know there were some agencies who did lose to other states. Officers just said, I'm not working in California anymore, and they've gone to other states to be police officers. We have not had that. Generally, the individuals who I have lost, they left for personal reasons. And so, you know, like I said, I'll always support somebody if they're trying to better themselves for the right reasons. And I feel that the officers who have taken other jobs, other places have done that.
Definitely. Well, I'm questioned out.
You quit? Oh man, you did a good job. I will tell you that. I did email you one that came in through the Chiefs chat website, but you might not have got it because I sent it. I think I sent it to your college email. But someone was.
I can check right now. Hold on.
Okay.
Michael, I received this question. Now that Adrian Drive has become the main road across town to Cotati, will police patrol be increased? Will traffic enforcement be increased?
Absolutely. This question results as because of the new roundabout that they're putting on at Southwest and Commerce, and so there's some detouring and diverting of traffic, which we knew was going to be going through a section, and so my traffic sergeant went out and kind of mapped out the routes that people would probably be taking, And we have, one, been using a traffic trailer. People hopefully have noticed we've had a traffic trailer out on Adrian and in other areas of section. And we've also put a requirement of our beat officers and traffic units to be in a section, especially during the high commute hours, to address the traffic, the additional traffic that we're going to see in that area. So we're very aware of it. We were proactive in coming up with a plan. And yes, we will be doing some. So please, if you're in a section, there are going to be a lot of officers out there. There will be motors out there. And so I don't want anybody who lives there getting the ticket. So make sure that you're slowing down and stopping for the stop signs, because we are going to be doing zero tolerance patrol through.
Or Facebook. How often are you officer certified on their weapon training?
So we train. We have the one thing I always love about talking about is our training program here. Officers train every other Thursday, because there's 2 shifts, but we do a lot of training and range training. We're at the range usually 3 to 4 times a year. And that's both pistol and rifle training. We have our own in-house range training team. So we actually meet and exceed in some of them the post requirements. We do a very, very good job of training in both defensive tactics and range training.
Another question I had: how can we help make a difference in this community to bring more cultural awareness here?
Make a difference and bring more cultural awareness. Okay. Yeah. So one, like, right, just what we're doing today, we have you and I now have a new relationship, and you have a terrific group of students who you're representing tonight at your college. And so just what we're doing tonight is already going to increase that. But we got to keep doing it tenfold. We got to keep opening it up, right? And if we're gonna change or address cultural awareness, we got to be open like this, and we got to be willing to have conversations, and we got to be willing to get together. And the idea you had about MSI and public safety getting together, during Black History Month, I think that's the best idea I've heard.
Yeah, because just like getting to like talk. Like sometimes as a young person, I'm 20. I just turned 20. That's boring. I don't talk all the time. I want to have fun. Like we can like cops versus students, like basketball tournament, or like little stuff like that. Like that right there will make like that right there, let alone would just like make us like just certain events would just be way more fun than just, oh, let's talk, let's get to know each other. Like, when you interact with one another person and just talking, that's way more better than just having a conversation, because a lot of conversations get heard one ear and they go out through the other ear. Like just to keep it real, sometimes not everything is being remembered. Not like we have so much stuff in our life that we can't remember everything that was said or what, everybody has their own issue. So just having conversations is cool, but doing more stuff with you guys, getting to know you guys better, that's like our main goal. We just want to feel more safe here. And more like just better have a better relationship. Like me and you, now I have a relationship with you. Anytime I see a cop, oh, I know Chief 10, Chief 10, like that's my boy. I can say it like that. But yeah, just little stuff like that. Like we're done with kind of meetings. We want to have more events with you guys, and hopefully like we can start something like very soon.
I agree. Yeah, boring talking can be boring. I agree. Mixture of talking, fun, eating, right? Get to know each other. That's what we got to do. I'm up for that. I tell you that. So I will be reaching out to you to talk to you about how to get that idea going about getting together, what we can do, and we'll make that happen. And then what we'll do is we'll make it grow.
Definitely.
We'll just keep throwing it right through our community. So
we will invite you too. Another question in chat said, on the traffic note, if residents are aware of frequent speeding cars on their street and they have their infos, how can we report and request a follow-up?
So you,
I'm not
you,
trying to get technical.
you can call dispatch, or I always have Jill put my email up here. And if you send them to me, I will see that they get personally forwarded where they need to go. And I can tell you it happens because generally when I forward the email, I see 2 or 3 tickets come in that same day from working that area. So I don't ever, I'm never too busy to get an email. So Jill will put my email up there and people can email me or call dispatch, one or the other.
On the same basis of that, I'm like, we all young people, we speed a little bit, we just a little bit, but like that right there, that kind of like, I feel like if you sent that email, that'd be like, oh, automatically pull them over, it feels like that right there would be just like, I feel like that's he say, she say, but you are supposed to report that, definitely. But like, is that the only way that would go about it? Just forward the email and like, oh, this car is dangerous.
Well, so we're not going to go looking for that particular car because we actually have to see the violation. What they're doing is they're making us aware of the speeds are getting higher on this road, some traffic control. And we go out there and if we see you doing 40 to 25, we're probably going to stop you and talk to you, right? Because we need to slow down because speeding leads to collisions lead to energy, and injuries lead to death. So we want to keep people slow. We don't necessarily go look for that particular car, but it tells us there's a problem on the street. So,
well, yeah, that's all my questions. I just want to say thank you for letting us get on this call. The time is like 6:53. But yeah, I'm just gonna say thank you for letting me get on this call and ask you these questions, face to face, and I feel more comfortable now that I talk to the chief. Now I'm gonna go by. If I see somebody, hey, tell Chief I said what's up.
You stop at any time. I always invite anybody to come in and see me. My door is always open, and I reached out to someone and I said, hey, I'd love to bring someone on that's going to challenge me, with questions and I get here a young point of view, right? Because a lot of the hosts are from they're different eras, and so this has been fun. It's been challenging, and I appreciate it. But you and I now have a whole new respect for each other and a whole new relationship. So, I said I got 49,000 people to do. Well, I got one less, right, to talk to and try to get this relationship built. So, but we will definitely do something next month. I promise you. I look forward to it, and I will be in touch with you.
Definitely. The SSU president and Mr. Bailey, we thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And I want to thank everybody who came back tonight to watch this chat. We are back. And as I said before, if you would ever like to host one of these, just send me an email and I will reach out to you, and you will be starring in your show here because you are the host. Right, Michael? I told you were going to lead this thing, and you led it.
Definitely did.
All right. Well, we will sign off now. And again, thank you very much. Good luck with your studies the rest of this week, and you and I will be in touch.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And Jill, thank you as always.